Welcome to the channel, where I give myself limited time to reimagine and illustrate beloved fictional characters in my own horrible style, for no reason other than to have a laugh. So let's get started. So I've opened Photoshop. Now, I am only using Photoshop because I haven't worked out how to record from my iPad yet, or I use Procreate all the time now, but I've still got enough in the tank. I can remember how Photoshop works. So if you're using Photoshop, cool, but later on hopefully I'll be using Procreate. Anyway, so if you want to draw like me, and why wouldn't you? Because it's fun, what we need to do is open your mind. So you know roughly what you want to draw. I want to draw Misty. So I remember my shortcuts, don't I? A few test strokes. There we go. So Misty, so what do you need? Reference. So I'll show you the reference pictures that I have been using. I'll pop them up on the screen. So this is Misty. So we know what she looks like. She's got a big chunk of hair on the side of her head. Just get the gist of her. You don't need to replicate her. If we're just trying to draw her one-to-one, what's the point in drawing? What's the point drawing anything? Might as well just print it out from an existing photo or illustration. So who cares? I'm going to draw Misty my way. Right, that's a circle. It's not a very good circle, but that's what I'm going with. Sometimes, you know, some people would undo that and redo it and do it, you know. But I like, genuinely, I like the concept of sticking with what emerges. So on that ball, I've added these lines so I can see roughly where the middle of her face would be. So that would be a nose if it went straight up in the air. What kind of nose does she have? She's got one of those anime noses. Very unusual. It's just like this. But that's not going to work for me. I don't like that. So I want her to have a better nose than that. Maybe she's like this, looking up. Okay, that's horrendous. Cool. I love it. Now, if you want to, so there's lots of little things you can do to make this better. Just go with it, mate. Right, so in this case, and I am actually going to put a bit more effort in. I'm going to try and draw the contour of that bit of the nose, just so I've got a bit more understanding of where the center of it is, and then I'm going to kind of do that. So this is a little bit of anatomy, so believe it or not, when I draw, if you've seen anything I've drawn in the past, it looks like I've just done any old nonsense, and I have. But there is a bit of anatomy knowledge behind it. So it does help to understand anatomy to an extent, but don't get too caught up on it. So I'll leave that like that for now. Sometimes I'll just bottle it and I'll think, oh no, it's getting too technical for me now. I'll come back to that later, and that's fine. Like the nostrils there, where they're gonna go. Oh, that'll do. Where's that bit gonna come right there? And then it'll be like cut off there. There we go. So that's not too bad. So we've got a nose, big flaring nostrils, as she's famous for. I am pretty sure I remember seeing her have big flaring nostrils in one episode. She's got big eyes, big green eyes, it looks like. Big cute green eyes. Nice. She's probably doing something very anime, isn't she? Because I've seen something. She have, from what I know of anime, lots of sparkly eyeballs. Okay. There we go. Sparkly eyeball. Beautiful. Is that mascara? This is the thing I don't understand about Misty. Isn't she meant to be like a kid? But she's got like mascara on and she's wearing hot pants. It doesn't seem right to me, but what do I know? Right, so we've got to try to work out roughly where some of these shapes are going to be. So I'm going to say, let's draw the middle of the eye for now, just to get an idea. So if that's like the middle of the eye line, I can then try to roughly match the angles of this. About here, about here. Who knows? It's going to get messy. What about a big forehead? She's got a big forehead, doesn't she? How do... Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Okay, so it's already gone off the rails. Don't know what's happening yet. Ears. She's got a normal ear there. But... I'm going to give her special ears. Nice. Minimal. You know, these are minimal anime type ears there. Don't want you worry about that. Now let's tidy this up a little bit. Doesn't feel right, so I might have to move it. Don't worry about it. Stop worrying. That's the bottom line here with this drawing. Malarkey. You just gotta stop worrying. Doesn't matter. Who cares? We'll all be dead one day. No one's gonna remember me. Whoa. Right, genuine. I'm not being silly now. Genuine time. Genuine tip time. This is wrong. But anyway, what we can do is, if I remember, adjustments, image rotation, flip canvas horizontal. There we go. I recommend doing this genuinely, 100%, not even kidding, because... Oh God, how do I do this again? Lasso, that's one. Because your eyeballs get used to stuff, and I think there's a name for it, and I can't remember what it is. It's like a scientific name. If you keep drawing your picture from the same angle for ages, looking at one piece of paper or one screen, your brain convinces you that it is correct. So what you need to do is flip it. So if you're on actual paper, flip the paper, hold the paper backwards to some light, and you'll see it backwards essentially, or hold it up to a mirror, and then you will be able to see it for the first time. Essentially, your eyes see it again, fresh, for the first time, and that's an actual sensible trick. So do that. What am I doing, you might be asking? So I'm thinking, is it funnier if she's got one really big eye? I don't think it's adding that much. I think it will help more to make her have some cute features, because when you're trying to obliterate people's childhood characters, you don't want to go too over the top, too quick. You need to have some parts of the character that are actually like legitimate. Just carve that out a bit. Because you don't want them to just look like, where does it end? Like if you were doing true surreal artwork, you wouldn't have like, I don't know, legs. You would just have like a smashed egg. There you go, that's surreal. But we want it to look a little bit like something real, something that people recognize. So you have to actually stick to having some kind of a realism, not realism. Oh, what's this? Oh, I flipped colours. I forgot I could do that. Press X. I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but down bottom left, if you can see that, you can just switch between those two. Anyway, just bring that nostril bit up. Oh, beautiful. Right. What was I saying? You need to have some qualities of the character still there. So in this case, we can have our... I just burped, sorry. We can have our eyes with a big mascara things on. So she's just exaggerate it, just for fun. Whee. And then she's got like, chang. Because she's just been on a night out with all of her mates. All of her Geordie mates. Okay, so I've got a plan for the mouth. Where is it? Where is my... So I've got some reference on the other screen, like I said. I've got one of faces. So obviously that annoyed me. I'm just saying this doesn't make sense now. Wait a minute. Don't be afraid to delete stuff. back in there. In there. Bring that round like that. Just felt wrong. I'll leave it like that for now. And don't forget, we're going to be coming back to this in the inking stage. So we're kind of giving ourselves a bit of an anchor for the logic of where these things are going to be. This isn't the finished artwork at all. So what we need to do is just make sure. Ew. His nose isn't working very well. Just got to make sure that we've got like the gist of it in position. It's alright for now. I want to flip it again. I used to have this on a shortcut. Image adjustments, flip horizontal. Alright, so the nose is starting to look a bit twisted, so what I'll do is I'll take this, lasso it up, baby. And then can I remember how to do Control T, this thing? Yeah. Still got it. And I can just tweak this until that's right. I'll do. Cute little anime nose. Beautiful. She's so kawaii. I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay. I'm happier with that now. See what I mean? I don't care about any of this. Stop caring so much. Because it's all going to get inked over later on. This has just given me an idea of where these bits need to go now. Okay, so now we're going to get to the gob. So she would often have this. There you go, anime mouth with a tongue. Yippee! She looks well happy, but I'm not having that. I want her to look funny. So let's roughly. And I'm working off these anchor points here, so I've just identified this is the middle line, the center line of the head. So that's where I'll start with my semi-symmetrical mouth. And I'm going to go like this. So I've got that reference up, and I'm just trying to work out, make some more marks for myself. What I'm doing. So I want to have some space there. That's the bottom bit of the teeth, sorry, the lip. And then we're going to have the rest of the lip go up. And then you can be as gross as you want. If you want to make it bigger, which I might do. Come back, I'll do a second pass. That's too wide for the angle. So that's looking a little bit anemic there. I don't like how weak it is. Anyway, right. So we're gonna have a few teeth, cute anime teeth. I was trying to think about the angles. If you think about the teeth, like a horseshoe shape fitting in the mouth, we go like this, and then we can imagine that the teeth would fit in the area there. So now that I've blocked that off, I can go as wild as I want, as long as I remember that there's this angle that I'm going to be looking at. Think about gums. You've got to always think about gums in this business. The gummier, the better. Angles. Work the angles. And then just let it happen. She got like a spiky tooth there. I don't know why. It's funny, isn't it? And then just recede off into the back. Alright. Tongue, or as some people like to call it, tongue. So how gross do we want this to be? Pretty gross. Just get that curve right. All the way over here. Center line of the tongue. So you can see it's not exactly like the reference. That's fine. And I'm going to block out a bit of depth to this, a bit of a side angle going on there, so we can see a bit more of where the light would be. And so this again isn't going to be the final shape that we draw. We need to have some kind of an idea where these things are. So if I now block in with the black, some of the a bit bigger, some of these edges, these gaps. So when it comes to inking, I know what's meant to be what, in a sense. Eraser, just tidy up a bit. Horrendous. So again, the shape's not quite right, so I'm going to go back in, avoid the teeth. I quite like the teeth at the top. But I'm just going to get the lasso, Control T, warp. I'm sure we can get something better. Or if we just got thin, like a thin witch's tongue. Witches, I don't know, why did I say that? Why do witches have long tongues? I don't know. Just made that up. It's ridiculous. Let's fix this a little bit. Now, Filtrum. Interesting. It's going to come down here. So the nose is it's got very defined edges and things to it, as we all know. Just shade that in a little bit there, just to make it clear that it's going to be lower. Right, so because I've done this, we've kind of now got to make a bit of space for other anatomical parts. So I've got to kind of like start thinking about the reality of this now, because you need a bit of that, not too much. So obviously here and here, this skin flap, I think that's a scientific term for it. Skin flap is going to obscure that there. There we go. Cool. Right, what about the shape of her head? I didn't even consider that. I just did one circle, didn't I? Pointy chin. That's what she's got. Also cheekbones, that comes down like this. Bang. Sorted. And then this bit goes from the ear straight down in a curve. And we'll have to meet the chin, of course. We'll have to meet the chin where it naturally points. Comes to an anime point. Is that good? No, I think the angle's a bit wrong. Build a bit of volume there, that's a bit better. Anime chin. Okay, now hair. Ooh, Misty, you got hair going on. Might need another. No, I don't. I was going to say get more reference. So normally, actually, let's try and copy the energy of this a little bit. The pose, that is. So she's meant to be young and full of life. Yippee! That's the noise she makes as she runs through the streets, capturing creatures and whatever else she gets up to. Alright. So I'm gonna have to keep moving this. Oh, you flippin' heck. Stop it. No, what do I have to lock that, don't I? Lock it, how do I lock it? There we go. Get off. Right. Forget the hair for now. So, wait. Something's happening. Something's happening. Why? Why? Wait a minute. I'm trying to think of anatomy and it's not working. It's fine. Okay, block some more anatomy in. Alright. Thigh. Bang. So, waist. It's got a ridiculously tiny waist. We'll make it a little bit tinier, a little bit more ridiculous as we can. There we go. She sounds like a bit like an ostrich, and that's okay. And that's just what happens sometimes. Right. Neck. Long neck. Thin neck. Not much space for a torso now. That's not my problem. Good luck. Good luck, Misty. Getting there. Something's happening. Just block some of our shapes out. Right, so she's good. She's now here. I give her a hind leg, and I don't know why I did that, but I think it's pretty good. I'm not an expert on the hind legs. I do have cats, and they've got hind legs, haven't they? So if a copy of my cat's legs aren't like this. If there were, I'd be really concerned. But I was given one of my cats a little scritch on her leg last night, and it was a little bit like this. There we go. Now, what kind of feet? What's she got on her feet? Has she got trainers on her feet? No, of course not. Which leg is this? That one. Okay, so big toe here. Bang. Talon. Of course. Nice. But now I don't know if legs like hind legs can bend that way. I don't think they can, because this means that she's got a joint that can go 180 degrees. I don't know if that's right. I also don't really care, so let's try and give it quite a few folds up here. Right, feel my wear on these toes. Stubby toe. Now that's the... Jesus, what's happening? This is... Right, hang on. Alright. That's meant to be that, okay. That's the ankle. That's the ankle. That is meant to be the ankle. If you can believe that. Who designed this? Oh Lord. So that's the ankle. We need them. There we go. That's what's missing. A bit of volume to the edge to show that. That is the side. Talons. These might not be talon-y enough. Make them bigger. I think it's the wrong angle as well. So hopefully you can see what this is all about. It's mainly about getting angles and things right, and that's just experience. I make mistakes all the time, but also I don't really care that much because, well, why would I? It's just a just a silly picture. Good lord. Oh, it looks like it's hanging on for its life. Is that the ankle? I don't know where these things are. I have to find them, you see. How do you think I feel? I've got to try to discover these things as I go. It's not right. Just keep adding folds. In doubt, add a fold. That's, I think you'll learn that, like, if you do like art college or something, just keep trying to add folds. Right, something's going on, isn't it? It's not bad. So, this bit is freaking me out, not because it doesn't look right, because obviously none of this looks right. But I feel like it needs redoing. It just doesn't blend properly. It's a bit like if you see, what is it? If you see some anatomy that doesn't quite make sense, you don't know why. It doesn't matter. It's still not going to make sense. So you need to do something about it. Even though it's ridiculous, there still has to be some logic, some kind of reason for it. There we go. That joins on a lot better now. This is the ankle. I don't know that much about ankles. You need to study different body parts, by the way, with a reasonable amount of time spent on each. Ankles, something I wouldn't spend too much time on. For some reason, I'm not too bad at knuckles and stuff. Whoa. Whoa, don't like that bit. Just tidy up a little bit. And this is again for my sanity later on. The less lines you have to ink over, the better. Don't need to think of groin join. There we go. Groin join complete. Maybe? No. Can't quite tell. Right, so what's she wearing? She got shorts on. Of course. Famous. Iconic shorts. Come around. Pick a part where it'll cut off. It seems silly, but this is probably the most recognizable part of the character. Because you got that distinctive blue with a lighter blue on this part here. And then you got the yellow here. So even with all this nonsense going on, you're going to be able to probably work out who this is. So we need some arms first. But because she's looking a bit like an ostrich, let's just zoom out. Bad. Let's flip it. Nothing's jumping out as being particularly wrong though. The more I look at it, the less I like the tongue now. Put it back that way. Alright, let's do some arms. Okay. Arm time. So, in keeping with her bird-like nature here, just need to draw some subtle raptor-like talons. I'll just do 2 fingers on each. Why? You tell me, hello. Why would I know? Just felt right. Like this, that's going to be in shadow a little bit. It's going to be a knuckle here somewhere. Then that'll go up here. Ooh, hang on, no, too far. It's better. Oh, locked in here. This isn't even a hand anymore. Does she even need a thumb? No, it's probably going to be funny if she has no thumb. She's got a big gap in the vest. Like this. That was sorry, that's the noise I'm imagining that she makes as she chases you through the cornfield. Doof, 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 doof. And she gets faster. Doof, 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 doof. She gets closer. What's on the end of these fingers, though? I don't know. I think I like the idea of them just being like normal digits. I think it'd be quite good. She just wants to caress your face with them or something like that. That'd be quite funny. I don't. Right, I'm not deliberately giving her a big butt there. Bring that back. Try to tidy these bits up a little bit. Simplify some of the mess that I've made. Just for my benefit later on. It's better. Right. Another detail, she's got this mud belt area. And she's got this bit. She's got a button. And she's got... hang on. That's cool. Is that like... let's try and copy that. And then that bit. Just make it look a bit more like fabric. It's good, that. I like that. I'm not very good at drawing fabric. It's all bunched up, look. That's cool. Pockets. Pockets. This bit's a bit rubbish. It's too angled that way. That's where I've gone wrong. I mean, I've been ridiculous like that's a little bit better. But I'm loath to get rid of these bird legs now. So she's got that on as she's running. Maybe that's flapping a bit in the breeze. Make it a bit bigger, cover her up, give her some decency. She's got braces on, obviously. Iconic braces, of course. Do that, make them smaller. So I would like to see some people cosplay as this, if possible, if you can make that happen. I would very much appreciate it. New version of Misty. Boom. Right, so like I said, oh, she got one bit of clavicle going on here. Should I be zooming this in for you? It's my first video, it'll be nice. So, dish, dish. That's a noise she makes as she stamps on your skull. Okay. Yeah, I've decided I don't like this thing anymore. Shit. Just get rid of it. See what happens. Let's just mess about. I don't know what this expression is. What a chin, does it like the chin? Oh god. That's worse somehow. The chin, I think the chin is now a bit too much. So sometimes when you're drawing, you'll think it's a good idea at the time, and then you come back later and you just change it, and it's fine. So I'm still trying to keep some of that pointy anime chin. Right, okay, so sure. That's good actually, because that gives us more neck to play with. More neck is always better. And what about Adam's apple? You can go on. Boom. Oh, so good. Stretchy skin, maybe. Just an idea. Right, let's enhance this a bit, these cheekbones. Let's follow that on a little bit. Let that dictate the angle. So if you use slightly longer words than you normally would, you sound really clever. So it's let that dictate the angle. It sounds like you know what you're on about. Okay, hair. So from what I'm looking at here, which is at a funny angle, it's like a big massive chunk of hair on the side. So I think it comes out like a bobble or something like that. So I'm gonna do it like this. I could look it up, but I can't be bothered because I'm enjoying myself. There's a tricky thing. You gotta try to draw it in clumps. But I don't like doing it. So I'll just give an impression of her and then I'll leave it at that. That's a little bit hairy in it. You want hair? Go to a barber. That's what I always say. There's a bubble. And then she got like spikes all over the place. I'm not going to count them. I'm just going to give her some. I think I am. I've got things to do. I've got stew to make. We're not out of space here. That's okay. That's part of the fun. She's got one bit that seems to go down over here. Let's see if I can get classic anime. She looks scared. Do I even need that? I might not even need these, but see, they're distracting. That's the kind of thing where if I want to do a good job of hair, I would get some proper reference out and I would study it. But now's not the time. Not for Misty. She doesn't deserve it. Get rid of some of this. That'll do. Zoom out, let's look. Looks like she's shot on the side of the head. but I like it. There we go. So what else? Now, when I get to this point, what I like to do is try to think about any other things that might be fun to add. Any other nibbly knobbly bits, any other knickknacks that I can add on. Any more grossification I can do. Make sure I've not missed any of these obvious anatomy bits. I'm just thickening some of these lines up for the inking stage. Now I will do the inking on Procreate, so I'll do that as a time lapse because I'm much more comfortable with the pens on that one, the software, and it's easier to twist the tablet around. So I am doing this on a display tablet, but it's like a Cintiq knockoff, and it's not on a lever arm or anything, so it's quite difficult to move. But yeah, this is, I feel like the face could do something else. I feel like she's missing a bit of expression, so let's have a little explore. Just put some of this in, some shading in, and again, we're not going to keep this shading, but it's going to help me differentiate some of the shapes later. Maybe we need another chunk of flesh here. Hide the eye. That's gross. Would we have that on the other side? Probably a little bit. It's a bit better. Let's try to build up this here, the side of the nose into the. I'm trying to put actual anatomy onto an anime character here. They're not designed for that either. They're not designed with that in mind. I don't like anime artists, of course. But when you try to stick an anime face onto a human skull, it goes a little bit wrong. So, you know, like there's that recess for the eye. If we try to work out where that will be here, it becomes quite scary quite quick. And I do want to try to keep that. I'm trying to make these things, so I'll draw some contour lines like that to show where it would go. Oh god. Wrinkles there, some lines there. And again, these are just for later on for the inking stage. So that's a bit messy up there, it's a bit noisy, but I'll probably work it out. It'll be fine. She looks pretty cool. I'm Misty. And she has an egg. Oh, didn't plan that. I'll show you the other Misty that I drew. And it's nothing like this one. Just to prove that I have no idea what I'm doing when I start drawing. But I'm just remember she's got the egg, hasn't she? Maybe she's protecting the eggs. Maybe she's laying the eggs. Although I'll probably stay away from that idea for obvious reasons. So, egg. I might just have to leave it. I can't think. I should have thought of that earlier on, really. But we can incorporate a big egg into this idea at some point. Okay, so I'll leave it there for now, and I'll go ink it and colour it in Procreate. I'll even talk you through that if you want to see that. Okay, so for the inking process, which I find very fun and relaxing, I only use one brush in Procreate, and it's I think it's the Studio Pen or Studio Ink brush. I'll double check that when I do a proper Procreate video for you. And the colour is just manually colouring it in on a layer below the inking layer with just a thicker brush. That's it. That's all I use. And then as I go through, I'll do a base colour a shadow colour and sometimes a highlight colour, depending on the texture of the thing I'm drawing. And on this one, right at the very end, I'll use a soft airbrush with low opacity to do some gradients where I make the feet and fingers look discoloured. You'll see that shortly. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. I'll do some more in-depth videos at some point with a bit more structure now I've got Procreate working. Thank you for watching.